Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about using version controls for the coders. We want to use a Git version control, and we want to see how we can have a track of our code development with the use of Git and GitHub. So, why we should do that? First, because we will save the trajectory of development of our codes, which is really important because it might like reduce the conflicts in future, like reduce the errors, and more importantly, when we are collaborating in a project, like for example in our lab, when we are working on OATPs, someone is working on plots, someone is working on better representation of ligands and molecules, someone is working on machine learning classifications and so on. And we have the same goal, which is like developing a computational project for OATPs. And we want to have one version that glues all of these together and give it to the user. So you will better understand this, but I wanted to say like how we can collaborate, and which is important because you know who has written what code in what date. And that's really important to collaborate and understand how the code has been developed. So for doing that, I assume you have a GitHub a profile. If not, you can go to the GitHub website and just create a profile for yourself. And then you should download the Git app. Basically, you can go to, yeah, you can go to Git dash SCM, and in the downloads, you can basically see whatever PC you have, just select it and download the app. And make sure that when you are running the installer during installation, there will be an option that is like add Git to path. Make sure this option is selected because it will allow you to run Git commands from the command prompt or PowerShell. If you don't find it and if you get errors in future about like, okay, Git is not installed, another thing that I will be added into the Word Word file description is you can go to environment variables and under system variables, you can scroll down and select path and copy the path of your Git folder in it. And then you won't have any problem in running Git. Then, okay, after we download Git, what happens? Let me just go ahead and remove the previous ones that I have. And then you can type Git, and an app called Git Bash is going to be installed for you. And when you open the app, what happens? Let me just also zoom in. I want to have PWD, which is print working directory, where we are located right now. Okay, we are in users. Me2MA is my username, so you will see your username here. And then I'm gonna create a directory called version control, maybe. mkdir is a code that you can use basically to just create new directories. And then cd is change directory. So I want to change my current directory to the directory that I made. Version control. What is this directory? Is a directory that I want to save any code that I'm developing from here. And then, so you can see that we are in the version control right now from this in here. Then you want to make sure that the Git is installed, so we can check it with having Git dash dash version. Okay, Git is installed. If it's not installed, as I said, you can go to the Word file and I've put some instructions for you. And then we are going to basically initialize. Git init basically says initialize tracking my codes, initialize a new Git repository locally for me in my PC. Initialize empty Git repository. Cool, thank you. So what we should do now, we can store our codes here. First, I wanna do something. I wanna go to my GitHub page because whatever code you are developing, you wanna have it in your GitHub page. I already made a new repository, which is empty. It doesn't have any code and stuff. And I wanna just basically copy the path of this. You can go to code and just copy this because we wanna add it to our local directory. So we can just keep going here, but we wanna go to the main app that we are coding in it. So I'm using VS Code for coding. You can download VS Code in Google, just typing VS Code. And make sure that you are downloading not the latest version because it has some bugs and problems. So just one to the last version, just download that. And then if I use code dot, I'm just gonna transfer the directory that I am right now in my VS Code. So I just gonna go to VS Code and see what has happened. You can see that there is a directory called version control in my VS Code. So what should I do from here? This is like a directory that I can develop my codes. As you see, there is no folder and file here, which means that I haven't done anything. First, I want to open a terminal. And you can see that, okay, I'm in the version control again. I want to add my GitHub repository that I just already copied into here. So how I'm going to do that is basically command called git remote add origin, and then the thing that you've pasted, the code that, okay, maybe it's not copied yet. I want to go back here, go to code, and just clone this. I just want to copy this and go here and paste it. So I have added this GitHub repository to my Git version control. So what should I do right now? I haven't done any coding, so I'm gonna just start coding. So if we go here, there's something called new file, new folder. I wanna just make a new Python file called intro.py. And in here, I wanna have my first code called print and hello Git users. So I've made a change. Am I right? So there was nothing. I made the intro.py file and I put some codes in here. Do I want to track this just here or do I want to develop more codes and then track it? It's like a time step, like a time step that you want to just freeze your code. Maybe just you want to access it and you know what changes you have made to your code. So I'm going to save this and I want to just track this change as simple as this. It shouldn't be as simple as this, but this is for like a demonstration purposes. So I go to terminal. Wherever you feel like confused and you don't know what to do with Git, have Git status. What is the status of Git? Git is very communicative in what you have done. So it says on branch master, no commit yet. We have on tracked file intro.py. And it also says what to do. It says if git, use git add and the name of your file if you want to include this file in your commit command. Commit is basically when you want to just add stuff into your GitHub. So I'm going to have git add And in here, you can just have intro.py, which is the name of your file, or you can just have git add and a dot here, which just adds your file. And if you do git status again, you see that you haven't made any commits, but you added your file to be able to be committed now. So green is good. We like green. Another thing is most of the time, there's a convention to use a main branch rather than master branch. Branch is basically, it's like you have multiple drafts, and main or master branch is the one that you are going to give to the user, and the other ones you can call them whatever. Like people, like different people can, like for example, we can have a OATP main branch, and then we can have OATP Mehta's branch, OATP Joel's branch, and go on. And like we can work on our own sheets and then add them to the main sheets later when we are sure that the codes that we are developing are making sense. So right now, at first I want to change the master to main because main is like a better name that people use. So for doing this, you should just use git branch -m main, and you can see the master is changed to main, which is good. Okay, now I want to commit the changes. First, before committing, you need to have a message that what you have done, what change do you want to just send to your GitHub repository? And the tense of the verb should be present, not necessarily, but it's a better convention. So I just want to say start coding process. And you could have like start printing hello Git users, something that's just communicative between you and your group. And then, yeah, it has been committed. Now, if I go to GitHub, if I refresh this page, nothing has been added. I made a file here. I made the intro.py file here. I committed, but nothing has changed. For finalizing things and sending them to here, we need to do push, git push -u origin. And don't worry about these codes. There are like, just maybe 10 of these lines that you should memorize and you will be good. And then main, I want to push my changes. Sometimes it doesn't work because maybe you haven't pulled the changes, or if you are sure everything is fine, you can force it, which is not the best practice. I want to just have it as a demonstration purpose for now. I think I really had a lot of different versions when I wanted to make. Okay, now that we sent a commit message to GitHub, now we want to upload our files into GitHub. So what you're gonna do is basically do this uploading with the push command. So I'm gonna have git push -u origin main. So it means that I'm uploading my file and my updates into the main branch. And now we are going to GitHub and see that when we are refreshing our page, we see that the code is there. So intro print hello Git users is here. And you can see that the commit message is here, a start coding process. So it gives us an understanding about like the commit history and the uploading process and the trajectory of our coding. Another thing that I should do here is talking about making new branches. So what is new branch? So as I said, all of the main changes are going to be in the main branch, but we don't want to always work in the main branch because it's the one that is like kind of a production ready in the industry or in the in academia. It means that okay, it's like ready to be used from other researchers. So if I'm just like, just working on my own sheets and like developing codes and I'm not sure about them, I need to work in different branches. How I should make a new branch with the checkout command. So I'm going to have git checkout, and this magic dash B that we use here is going to create a new branch for us. And I'm going to call it Mehta. Maybe I'm working on the GNN part in the OATP's graph neural network. I'm developing something in there. So I'm going to call git checkout. So it says that we created this Mehta GNN and we switched into it. So if I have git status, okay, we are in the branch Mehta GNN and nothing to commit, everything is clean. Another thing is if you want to again switch to different branches, so far we have Mehta GNN and we have main branch. So if I want to go to main branch, this time I just use git checkout without dash B, because when you use dash B, it's like for creating new branch. Git checkout main. Okay, now I'm in main. Git checkout Mehta GNN. I'm in Mehta GNN. So maybe I want to just have another file called like Boolean representations or whatever. There's a typing error here. I'm gonna rename it .py. And then maybe you import some libraries and maybe read something. Yeah, I haven't brought my codes here. Just want to make it as simple as possible. Or maybe just I want to import two things, like import pandas, import numpy, two libraries, like two data frame libraries. Then I save it and I want to commit this to my own branch. So I'm going to go to terminal and have git status again. Okay, you've made some changes. You haven't add them. So I'm going to have git add. Cool. And then we are going to have our commit message. Git commit m as message. And then in the message, we say import libraries, like necessary libraries. Just to note that you don't have to just commit everything. Like this is nothing. I just imported two things. It should be like when you are like in a good stage, maybe just you did something, you created a function or you finished some task that you think is important to track, you can then commit. I'm gonna commit. Okay, that's good. And then we are going to GitHub. Yeah, the file is not here because we haven't pushed it yet. So let's push it. Git push. Then -u origin. You should memorize this. And then the name of your branch. In here, rather than main, I want to do Mehta CNN. Yay, we push the stuff. So if we go to, it says that Mehta GNN had recent pushes 3 seconds ago. In main, nothing has happened because we haven't done anything in main. We haven't, like, if you go here, it shows like what branches you have. As the name represents, branch means like different, just trajectories of different branches basically. And I'm going to merge the GNN and see, okay, we have ligand represent that pi here. Another thing is after I create this, maybe my supervisor is going to see what I've done. It says, okay, I imported necessary libraries. The supervisor goes and sees what I've done, if it makes sense. If they like the change, they're gonna accept the change. And this is called, first I need to request for my change in this branch to be in the main one. Right now, you see in the main, we don't have that representation file. So I'm gonna just have compare and pull request. In the pull request, you have a description about like want to add representation libraries, then create pull requests. Then someone is going to see if they like this and if they accept this. Then if they click on merge pull request, it means that this is going to be merged into your main code. What is your main code? Is in the main branch. Confirm merge. We want to confirm it. So what happens here is that if you go to your branches right now, you see that this is merged. It means that, okay, this branch has done its job. And when you go to code, you see in the main, we have both of the codes because the merge request has been accepted. Great. Now when I go to main, git checkout main, when I have ls, ls shows like what I have. It just shows the intro.py. So what happened? I merged the files in GitHub. So in my main branch, I should have two files, intro.py and ligand represent.py. But in here, I just have one file. Why? Because in your local computer, you always need to get to the habit of like pulling all the updates in GitHub to your computer with basically using git pull. Git pull just gives you all the updates. So now you see that the file that we made into main branch now is also in my main branch in my local computer. Yeah, so this was like an overall overview of how you can use Git. You can just develop this with a lot of more codes and a lot of like, just when there are multiple people working on the same project, this could be really useful. And it's super protective of your code, so you won't lose anything and you will have detailed messages about each line of code. Like why this code is added, when this code is added, who added this code, and it will really make things easy for your project development. So it seems a little extra work for the first couple of rounds and first couple of projects, but like in longer run, you will definitely benefit from it. Thank you for listening.